There comes a moment in life when you grow tired of explaining yourself, tired of adjusting your dreams to fit someone else's comfort, tired of shrinking just to be accepted. That moment is not the end of your struggle, it is the beginning of your strength. Because the day you stop seeking approval is the day your mind finally begins to breathe. For so long, we are taught to measure our worth through applause. We look for validation in faces, in words, in reactions, believing that acceptance from others will make us feel complete. But the truth is simple and often painful. No amount of approval can heal a mind that has forgotten its own value. Strength is born when you turn inward and realize that the permission you were waiting for was always yours to give. When you release the need to be liked by everyone, something powerful happens inside you. Your decisions become clearer, your voice becomes steadier, your steps become firmer, you stop negotiating with fear and start walking with purpose. And suddenly the noise around you loses its control because you are no longer living for an audience, you are living for meaning. People may misunderstand you when you begin this journey. Some will question your choices. Some will call your silence arrogance, your confidence attitude, your independence rebellion. But a strong mind understands that misunderstanding is not rejection. It is simply proof that you are no longer easy to control. Growth often looks lonely before it looks powerful. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. Because when you constantly abandon your truth to keep others comfortable, you slowly disappear. And the world does not need another person who is pretending. It needs someone who is real, someone who stands firm in storms, someone whose worth is not shaken by opinions. That is the kind of strength that cannot be borrowed and cannot be broken. So learn to clap for yourself in empty rooms. Learn to trust your path even when no one understands it. Learn to stand alone without feeling alone. This is where courage quietly begins, not in loud victories, but in silent decisions to honor who you truly are. Pain has a language that only the heart can understand. It arrives uninvited, changes plans without permission, and forces you to face parts of yourself you never knew existed. Most people see pain as proof of weakness, as something to hide, something to escape, something to forget as quickly as possible. But a strong mind learns to look at pain differently. Not as an enemy, but as a teacher that refuses to leave until the lesson is learned. Every difficulty carries a question inside it. Not why is this happening to me, but who am I becoming because of this? The moment you shift that question, suffering begins to transform into strength. Because pain has a strange power. It removes illusions. It shows you who truly stands beside you. It reveals what truly matters. And most importantly, it introduces you to a version of yourself that comfort could never create. Think about the moments that shaped you the most. They were not the easy days filled with applause and certainty. They were the nights of doubt, the silent battles no one saw, the times you felt broken yet kept breathing anyway. Those moments were not destroying you, they were building endurance inside you, piece by piece, quietly preparing you for a life that requires courage. A strong mind does not deny pain. It sits with it, listens to it, and then decides to rise anyway. Strength is not pretending that wounds do not exist. Strength is choosing not to let wounds decide your future. Scars are not signs of damage, they are proof that healing is possible. Proof that you survived something that once felt impossible to carry. There will be days when the weight feels too heavy, when progress feels invisible, when hope feels distant. In those moments, remember this, growth is rarely loud. Transformation happens in silence, in patience, in the decision to take one more step, even when your heart is tired. Pain is not pushing you backward. It is stretching you beyond the limits you once believed were permanent. So do not rush to escape every hardship. Do not curse every storm. Some battles are not meant to break you. They are meant to train you. They are shaping your courage, deepening your compassion, and strengthening your faith in ways comfort never could. One day you will Look back at the pain you once feared and realize it was the ground where your strength learned to stand. There is a kind of power that does not announce itself. It does not argue to prove its worth, and it does not rush to be seen. It grows quietly, beneath the surface, in the small choices no one applauds. This power is built through silence, discipline, and patience, the three forces that shape a mind no storm can shake. Silence is often misunderstood. People think silence means weakness, that if you are not reacting loudly, you must not be strong. But true silence is not emptiness, it is control. It is the ability to listen when others are shouting, to observe when others are judging, to remain calm when emotions are trying to take over. In silence, you begin to hear your own truth more clearly than the noise of the world. And once you hear that truth, you stop needing to defend yourself to anyone. Discipline is where dreams stop being wishes and start becoming reality. Motivation can inspire you for a moment, but discipline carries you through the days when inspiration disappears. It is waking up when you would rather stay down, continuing when results are invisible, choosing growth over comfort again and again. Discipline is not loud or glamorous. It is repetitive, sometimes exhausting and often unnoticed. Yet, it is the bridge between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming. Patience is the strength that protects both silence and discipline. Without patience, silence turns into frustration and discipline turns into burnout. Patience teaches you to trust timing you cannot control. It reminds you that meaningful change is slow, that deep roots take time to grow, and that rushing the process can destroy what is still being built. A strong mind understands that delay is not denial. Sometimes it is preparation. When these three come together, something unshakable forms inside you. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop chasing instant results. You stop measuring your progress by how quickly others notice you. Instead, you become steady, grounded, certain in a quiet way that does not need permission to exist. The world may not always understand this kind of strength because it is easier to recognize noise than calm, speed than consistency, reaction than restraint. But the strongest people are rarely the loudest. They are the ones who keep building when no one is watching, who keep believing when no one is clapping, who keep moving forward with peaceful determination. Fear has a quiet way of entering our lives. It does not always arrive as something dramatic or visible. Sometimes it is just a whisper that says, "What if you fail?" Sometimes it is the hesitation before you speak, the step you never take, the dream you slowly convince yourself to forget. Fear does not need chains to hold you back. It only needs your belief that you are not strong enough to move forward. For a long time, many people wait for fear to disappear before they begin. They think courage is a feeling that comes first, and action follows later. But life teaches a very different truth. Courage is not something you feel before you move, it is something you discover because you moved. Fear does not vanish when you wait, it fades when you face what you were running from. The moment you decide to face life boldly, something shifts inside you. Your problem may not instantly become smaller, and the road may not suddenly become easy, but your relationship with fear begins to change. You realize that fear was never a wall, it was a test. A question asking how much you believe in your own strength, and every step you take forward becomes an answer. Being bold does not mean you are never afraid, it means you refuse to let fear make your decisions. It means speaking even when your voice trembles, trying even when success is uncertain, standing again even after you have fallen more than once. Boldness is not perfection, it is persistence with belief. There will always be risks in choosing courage. Some paths will lead to failure, some people will doubt you, some moments will feel lonely and uncertain, but there is a greater risk in living a life controlled by fear, the quiet regret of wondering who you could have become if only you had trusted yourself enough to try. A strong mind understands that failure may wound your pride for a moment, but regret can wound your spirit for a lifetime. Each time you face something that once scared you, your world becomes a little larger. Your confidence grows not from easy victories, but from surviving what you thought you could not handle. And slowly, fear loses its authority, because you have proven to yourself that you are stronger than the stories it told you. One brave decision does not change everything in a single day, but it changes the direction of your life. And direction more than speed is what creates destiny. There is a strength that no one can hand to you and no one can steal from you. It does not depend on circumstances, applause, or approval. It lives quietly within you, waiting for the moment you decide to trust it. That strength is self-belief, and once it awakens, it becomes the most powerful force you will ever carry. Many people spend years searching for confidence in the outside world. They hope success will create belief, that recognition will create certainty, that someone else's words will finally make them feel worthy. But true belief does not grow from what happens around you, it grows from what you choose to see within yourself. And sometimes the hardest part is believing in your own strength before the world gives you any reason to. Self-belief is tested most when life feels uncertain. When doors close, when plans collapse, when voices around you begin to doubt your path, it becomes easy to question everything, including yourself. In those moments, belief is no longer just a feeling, it becomes a decision, a quiet promise you make to your own heart that no matter how difficult the road becomes, you will not abandon yourself. This kind of belief does not mean you never feel weak. It means weakness does not define you. It does not mean you never fail. It means failure does not decide your future. Self-belief allows you to stand in the middle of uncertainty and still say, I am not finished. And sometimes those 3 words are enough to keep hope alive when everything else feels lost. The world may try to measure you by results, titles, or comparisons. It may tell you that you are too late, too different, or not enough. But a strong mind understands that worth is not a competition. Your journey is not meant to look like anyone else's. And when you truly believe in your own path, comparison loses its power, because you are no longer running someone else's race. Belief also changes how you face challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as proof you cannot succeed, you begin to see them as part of the story you are still writing. You start taking steps you once avoided, speaking words you once feared, and dreaming dreams you once thought were impossible, not because the road became easy, but because you finally trusted the strength within you. And the most beautiful truth about self-belief is this: it grows every time you refuse to give up. Every small step forward, every quiet act of courage, every moment you choose hope over doubt becomes evidence that you are stronger than you once imagined. There is a quiet misunderstanding about strength. Many people believe that becoming strong means becoming hard, distant, or untouchable. They think power must look intimidating, that confidence must silence others, that rising higher means standing alone. But true strength carries a very different energy. It does not exist to make others feel small. It exists to remind them that rising is possible. When your mind becomes strong, your presence begins to change the atmosphere around you. Not because you demand attention, but because you no longer beg for it. Not because you try to control others, but because you have finally learned to control yourself. This kind of strength is calm, grounded, and steady. And while it should inspire those who are searching for hope, it will naturally disturb the doubts that once lived comfortably around you. Some people may feel uncomfortable when you grow. Your courage may highlight their fear. Your discipline may reflect their hesitation. Your belief may challenge the limits they placed on themselves. This does not mean you are doing something wrong. It simply means growth creates contrast. Light does not argue with darkness. It quietly proves that darkness cannot stay. But remember this carefully: strength must always remain compassionate. The moment strength turns into pride, it loses its purpose. The moment confidence becomes arrogance, it stops inspiring and starts dividing. Real power lifts others without lowering itself. It listens without losing its voice. It stands firm without becoming cruel. Because the strongest hearts are not the coldest ones. They are the ones brave enough to stay kind in a world that often rewards hardness. Your journey is not about proving people wrong. It is about proving to yourself that you can rise, heal, and continue with dignity. When your focus shifts from validation to purpose, something peaceful replaces the need to compete. You begin to celebrate others without comparing. You begin to walk forward without rushing. You begin to live with a quiet certainty that does not need applause to feel real. And yes, this kind of strength will still scare something, but not people who wish to grow. It will scare excuses. It will scare fear. It will scare the old voice inside you that once whispered, "You cannot." Because every step you take with courage becomes evidence that you always could. So let your strength be gentle but unbreakable. Let it be humble but unwavering. Let it shine in a way that shows the world what is possible when a person refuses to surrender their spirit.